The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Iyyakum al-julus ala turuqat." And he said, "Don't sit in the paths, or don't sit on the streets or the ways that people travel. Right? Don't be in the way." And then there's kind of a conversation that happens between him sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions about, well, what if we have to? And he kind of gives them a way out, and he tells them, like, if you're going to do it, then here's what you should do to make it right. But I want to sit for a minute with the initial guidance of not sitting idly on the street. And this is something that is kind of important that we don't think about a lot, about what kind of impression or presence am I having? A lot of times, I'll give you a scenario that happens all the time. Maybe in your masjid there's an entrance, and maybe that there aren't separate entrances for men and women, or maybe that there are separate entrances but there's kind of like a common area. What happens if the men just hang out in that area? If they stand around and they talk, or they sit, or they do these other sorts of things, right? It can be very intimidating to the women. The women might not want to come in, they might not feel comfortable. If they're, in a different part of the masjid and they want to leave, they might feel shy about, these dudes that are hanging out and being in the way, right? And so you might not be aware of the kind of effect that you're having, or the presence that you're having within a space. You might actually be intimidating somebody, or you might be making somebody feel a certain way and not even be aware of it. And so the roads, the paths, all the sort of, means of transportation where people take in order to fulfill their needs, in order to go out and buy this and do that, and they have other things that they have to do. You don't want to be an impediment. You don't want to be an intimidating factor. You don't want to be in the way. You don't want to discourage anybody from doing these sorts of things. Then the interesting thing is that when the Prophet ﷺ is explaining to them, okay, well, if you have to be there, then you need to make sure that your presence is actively good. And he gives them kind of like a little short list of the things that they can do, including returning the salams, right? And commanding the good that is known, and forbidding the evil, and these sorts of things, so that you're actually uplifting everybody around you. And that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to being aware of the effect that you're having on other people, not being so just laser focused with blinders on that you're oblivious, not being oblivious, being conscious of the effect that you're having on the people around you, and striving to have an actively positive impact on everybody around you.